Hi guys, this is Omer from MMOHut.com. I'm their first impression gameplay video for Ultima Online, Stygian Abyss. I'll be looking at the 14-day free trial for the game. Now Ultima Online is a 2.5D fantasy MMORPG published by Mythic, which is owned by EA. Now I'll spend about 5-10 minutes running around checking the game out, make quick comments. If you guys want to learn more about Ultima Online or just play it yourself, check it out full review on the link below. So let's go ahead and log in. Now this is a free trial. It is not a free-to-play game, but there is a 14-day free trial for the game, which I just signed up for really quick. There are a whole bunch of servers in the game, as you can see over here. Unfortunately, most of them are low player base. You're going to want to play on the ones with high, and it looks like Atlantic over here is the highest player base server. So let's go ahead and play over there. Now the game calls servers shards, so you might get confused in case you hear that term being tossed around. Now this game has a lot of history. It originally released back in 1999. I actually first started playing this back in 2000 to 2001 is when I first started getting into it. It was my first MMORPG, and I played this for a long while. But now the game is completely different from when I first started playing. It's a completely changed game. It's enjoyed so many different expansion packs and content updates since original release. So let's go ahead and create our character right now. We have human, elf, and yeah, that's all we got, human and elf. So let's go with, they each have two different, they have some, uniqueness, so you want to read these, but I'm going to go with human though. Though they do have some racial differences. Now professions are in the game. You can choose what class you want to be. But unlike traditional MMORPGs, you don't actually just pick a class and stick with it. The skill system in Ultima Online is probably its most innovative aspect and really most original aspect. These are actually just presets for your character. You don't have to use any of these. You can customize them yourself. These are all different skills in the game over here, as you can see. There are a lot of skills in the game, and you can kind of just learn any one of them you want. Though you have a total of 700 different skills you can learn, points wise. They each max out about 120. So if you want to learn only 5 skills, 6 skills, you can start bringing them all up to 120. But you can't learn everything. So you have a total of 700 different points you can kind of spend on your skills. But you can't learn everything, so you just got to pick 5 or 6 different skills and really just go all out with those. But for now, let's just go with something pretty basic. Let's go with warrior for now and click next. You have some pretty lame customization over here. There's like 6 different options for each. But let's just go and enter the game. I don't want to spend too much time over there. One thing I do like about Ultima Online is pretty funny. You can actually name yourself anything you want. It doesn't really matter. 2 people can have the same name. It's no big deal. So here we are in the game's tutorial. If you're new to the game, you probably should check it out. Because like EVE Online, I would like to say Ultima Online has probably one of the steepest learning curves out there. So it takes a long time to get into the game. So there's a tutorial over here which I kind of want to skip. Close that. Default settings. Let's X this out. Yes. Yes, we're good. Alright, here we are. We are in one of the game's towns right now. I can kind of move around with holding right click. This is the game's most recent expansion pack, Stygian Abyss. And this is the sort of advanced 3D client for the game. Now, most of the players in the game actually agree that the 3D client is absolute trash. But I'm using it anyway because it's kind of the most recent thing, and I want to show you guys where the game is right now. You do have the option in the free trial page to kind of play with the 2D client, which I do recommend if you want to give the game a real chance. But I want to just download this. Now you see while I'm moving around, I'm gaining skill and focus. It's increasing pretty fast right now, mainly because it's at 0. When your skill is so low, it just increases really, really fast when you start using it. Focus is basically a passive skill in the game that increases your health and mana regen, which is why it's kind of gaining right away, as well as stamina. Just by moving around, I'm kind of losing stamina and I'm regaining it real quick. Which is why my focus skill is going up. There's a moon gate over there, which basically just people can cast. They're basically just portals people can create. Any high-level magician, not really level, any magician can kind of create those. So I'm right now in the newbie area of the game. It's just a place designated for noobs. It is one island over here. I'm not sure what the town is called, but let's go wander around outside town. Outside town, there are these dudes called the Wandering Healers. They're just NPCs that if you die, you turn into a ghost. You got to go back to the Wandering Healers. And they'll pretty much resurrect you. But it's not like you just die and you show up in one place. You're a ghost when you die is exactly where you died. And you gotta find one of those healers to bring you back to life. You can hear the music in the background. I want to kind of get right to the combat. There's a lot I can talk about this game. It's the first game I played. It was really fun back in the day. Though it's a completely different game now. You can see all our skills over here. If I want to, a good thing that you want to do is if you see skills, let's say you don't want to work on archery. You can put the up arrow down. Now you won't gain any archery skill if you use a bow. If you want to lower your fencing skill, you put the down arrow. And basically what that does is it ensures you won't gain points in it. And if you start using a dagger, you'll start gaining fencing. You start using a bow, you'll start getting archery. But you don't want to gain skills, and the skills you have no intention of using in the future. Because again, you have that max cap around 700. And once you hit that, you can't gain skill anywhere else. Unless you start lowering your other skills. So let's bring in my inventory over here. I start with 1,000 gold, 50 band-aids, and a katana. So let's just go ahead and use that. So let's go find somebody to kill over here. Not really somebody, just NPCs. Let's go fight this zombie. And you can see though from the graphics, I mean the game's graphics are very dated. Even with this very recent expansion pack over here. How do I fight this guy? How do I go fight this dude over here? Can't just left click. I got toggled into battle mode, which I forgot how to do. Hopefully this guy targets me automatically, and that would make my job easier. Let's see over here. There we go. We click on this bad boy, and we toggle into battle mode. So let's fight this zombie. So for a free trial, I mean for a pay-to-play game, you can tell right away the game is pretty disappointing in terms of visuals. Though in terms of content, the game does do really well. But this is unfortunately one of those games where a lot of new players will just not be able to get into. Even though I've been a big fan of this game when it first came out, I would not recommend this to new players. I mean, there's really no reason to play it when you have all these epic new 3D games out there. There's so many better pay-to-play games out there that I just couldn't recommend playing this. So let's see what this guy dropped. We got some gold coins. But if you do want to give the game a chance, I would recommend you play on the original 2D client because it looks a lot nicer. So we killed one dude over there, but let's go find some... Let's go kill the Spectral Spellbinder over here. You can see as I battle over here, I'm getting random skills. My swordsmanship has increased by 0.1%. And, you know, as I fight these guys, I'll be gaining skill. Each skill maxes out 120. And you can only get to 120 after you do a whole bunch of special stuff. It actually hits the cap at 100, but you can raise that cap by getting very powerful items in the game. So let's keep killing these spellbinders over here. I can zoom in as well. And when you zoom in, the graphics get even worse. Just look at my guy. Look at that helmet, how ridiculous it looks when you run with it. It's crazy. One good thing though is you can kind of zoom out as much as you want, which is really nice. You can see everything in the game. Let's go bring up the map in the game. I do want to stress though, the game has a lot of content. You have Trammel, these are all the worlds in the game. We got Trammel, Felucia, Illusioner, Malas, Takuno, and Terramur. And each of these are basically big continents in the game that each offer just so many different places to explore. They have their own dungeons, their own bosses, they have everything. Their own towns. So the game's world is absolutely enormous. So let's keep wandering around over here. I want to show you guys some of the player housing in this game. And without a doubt, I think the most epic part about Ultima Online is its player housing system. I'll show you guys a house when I see one over here. Now these are just NPC houses. I don't know if I can find the player house over here. But basically the houses in the game can be placed anywhere in the game outside of town. Players can put their own houses, in the actual persistent world. It's not like a lot of games that try to do the whole persistent housing thing, even like Runes of Magic where you have to go to a separate place to enter your house. Here you can kind of place it anywhere in the game outside of the towns. And I'm still inside of town right now, which is why it's not letting me see any houses. But yeah, I'm not going to find any right now. These are just NPCs over here, which are aggressive. I mean, again, this is why I can't recommend this game, only because there are so many better pay-to-play games right now. I mean, this game was definitely helped revolutionize the genre back when it first came out in 1999. But it just can't really live up to the World of Warcrafts out there and the more detailed games. Though, it's still going to be one of those games I go back to every now and then. I still actually play this game on occasion, but mostly on private servers. I don't actually play on the official servers, but, you know, don't tell anybody that. Apparently private servers are still illegal. And let's see over here. I'm in the world right now called Trammel, which is basically the most popular place in the game. There's also something called Felucia over here. It's a more PvP-oriented area of the game. In Trammel, you can't really attack other players because it's meant for newbies and just for PvE, while Felucia is meant for PvP. And what that means is you can attack anybody anywhere in that part of the game. And it's the same exact world. They look identical. They're the same towns, but one has PvP enabled and one doesn't. But let's keep walking around over here. I just can't get over how terrible these new 3D graphics look. I mean, wow. Let's keep wandering around over here. We see our clothing over here, our different armor sets. Another interesting part about the game is the game's item system over here, which has been added a while ago. Basically, it has the whole randomized item system, kind of like Diablo 2. I have a cleaver over here. It's normal cleaver, but I got a ring over here with +4 focus hit chance increased 6%, damage increased 7%, and it just totally randomized stats. Many of the items in the game are like that, and the equipment and the rings and the jewelry, everything in the game is randomized. And that's done really well because you can kind of just keep questing for and killing monsters to get the most epic gear in the game. It's all randomized, so I mean, you have a very small chance of finding the most godly items in the game. Here we see other players. It's not a dead game. People still play this game for sure, though not nearly as many when the game not nearly as many as when the game first came out. Yo, can we talk to people here? Yep. What I like is though the text goes over your head. A lot of games don't do that, but for some reason I've grown to like that. So yeah, we got other players over here just kind of walking around. One good thing though I really want to stress is that the free trial has very little restrictions. In fact, during the whole 14 days you have access to the game, you have pretty much limitless access. The only thing you can't do is own your own house, but new players probably won't be able to do that anyway. But aside from that, you can kind of explore every facet of the game. Anyway guys, I'm out of time, so if you guys do want to learn more about Ultima Online or just play it yourself, check it out full review on the link below. Later guys.